So I have some General Finishes Antique Walnut Gel Stain and a Gen Foam brush. And I got this palette from a local hardware store. They had given it to me. And I'm going to apply the gel stain to the entire front and sides of the palette. Now you can also use a mini foam roller, and this was actually a little easier. I do recommend the mini foam roller, and you can roll the gel stain onto the entire palette. Now if you don't have gel stain, you can certainly just use some brown paint. And I just covered the entire palette. Now I have this 48-inch by 10-inch pine board that I got from Lowe's, and I'm going to cover the entire board with the gel stain as well. And I'm just wiping it on, and then you just take more paper towel and wipe off any excess. And I love how this gel stain looks on the pine boards. And then I just set that aside to dry. Next, I took some Wise Owl Snow Owl paint, and I'm just going to dry brush some of the Snow Owl onto the front. Now you can put as much or as little of the white paint as you want. It really depends on what look you're going for. And this is what I have so far. And now you can really recreate this with whatever color that you want. Next, I took my 48-inch long board, and I'm just centering it onto my palette. So I want to make sure that it hangs over both edges evenly. And then I want to make sure that it's sticking out of the front about 2 inches. And I'm just taking my drill gun and some screws, and I'm going to screw my 48-inch pine board onto the top of the palette. And you want to make sure you're using screws that will go through the pine board. Now I have these 2 other pieces of wood that I cut to 40 inches long. Now mine are 3-inch boards, and I'm covering them with some Wise Owl Snow Owl paint. And I did both the front and back side of the wood. And then I allowed those to fully dry. Next, I took a 58-inch long piece of wood, and on the one end, I'm going to go in about 2 inches, make a little mark, and I'm going to make a triangle and cut it out with my jigsaw. Now, this step is completely optional. I just wanted the edges of my board to have a little bit of character to them. So I'm going to use the jigsaw and cut the shape out. And then I'm just going to take a sandpaper and just smooth it out a little bit. And I undid my clamps and I flipped it to the other edge, and I repeated the same step. But I just took the triangle I had cut out and traced it on the other edge of the board. And then using my jigsaw, I just cut the same shape out. And again, I just took my sandpaper to just smooth it out. Now I took that piece of wood and I'm going to paint it using my Wise Owl Republic Red. And again, this was 58 inches long, and I believe it's 5.5 inches wide. I got these letters from Hobby Lobby. They're about $1.30 each, and it came with 2 letters in 1 pack. And I'm going to spell out hot cocoa. And using my Wise Owl dried thyme paint, I gave them all a nice coat of the dried thyme. I allowed those to fully dry, and I took my snow owl and I just did a dry brush on top of them. Once all the paint had dried, I took my 40-inch long white piece of board, and I'm going to attach it to the top red piece. And I went about 5 inches in, and using a screw in my drill gun, I just screwed it together. And I repeated the same step on the left side here. I'm taking the 40-inch long piece of wood and attaching it to the top red piece. Now I'm just going to apply some Wise Owl varnish to my letters. And I also applied the varnish to the other pieces we painted as well. Once everything had dried, I took my wood glue. And I also had my hot glue gun. And I'm going to place my letters, hot cocoa, onto my Republic Red board. So you just want to find the center and place them where you think is best. Now you'll see me adding a little bit of wood glue and hot glue to each letter. Now the wood glue is going to be more of a permanent hold, and the hot glue is just going to hold the letters in place until the wood glue dries. And there we go. Now we have the 2 pieces set, and we are just going to attach them. And I did that by just taking some screws and screwing the white boards into the side of the pine board. And I'm sorry I don't have a video of me doing that. And to finish it off, I made some feet to put at the bottom of my pallet. And I cut these to about 12 inches. And I'm just going to screw them into the side, and then I painted these white. And there you go. Now we have this very easy, inexpensive, do-it-yourself hot cocoa photo booth that you guys can decorate and just have fun taking some family pictures together. And if you didn't notice, I did add a little more white to the front of the palette, so you can really make this any color that you wish. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Paint products can be found on our webpage at chalkitupfancy.com. And don't forget, you can check out some other tutorials over on our webpage as well. Have a great day.